Alright folks, new dev diary, new country. Today we're looking at Hungary. Now I'm going to do this a little bit differently from the other ones because it's just too much information. If I sit here rambling, we'll be here for an hour. So if you want in-depth coverage, please go read the dev diary. It's really extensive, good stuff in there. I can recommend it. If you don't have time to read and if you don't like my voice or don't want to watch my videos, look at this video. It tells you everything you need to know. It's made by Paradox. It's really good. All right, just watch that. Now, if you're still here and you want to hear my ramblings on this, I'm going to keep this short, to the point, quickly highlight what we're getting, what we're losing, and whether or not I think it's any good. And we're going to start off by saying, if you don't get this DLC, none of what you're about to see is going to be in the game for you. If you do get the DLC, you get this tree. If you don't, you get the old Hungarian tree. There's no overlap. They're not replacing the current historical path with this historical path and tacking on the non-historical paths as extras. No, they're not doing that. It's either you get the old stuff or you get the new stuff. That's it. Okay, let's get going. First off, massive focus tree. Looks to be split between politics on the left, so 3 distinct political trees, and then industry and army over on the right, as usual. Now, most of the changes have been made to the political paths, but some changes have also been made to industry. Not as much, but a little bit. National spirits, always something interesting to see. When you start the game, Hungary has new national spirits. They're not all bad, so let's take a look. We have the trade treaty. Okay, so this simulates the fact that you're pretty much dependent on Germany for, well, anything. Then we have the Hungarian National Defense Association, paramilitaries, the Levante associations, again, paramilitaries, and the Treaty of Trianon. This is the treaty that completely fucked up Hungary after World War I, and it continues to fuck up Hungary to this day. Well, not really. But part of the Treaty of Trianon was Hungary being not just split off from Austria-Hungary, which ceased to exist. They lost about 2/3 of their territory. Their historical lands were definitely ripped away, and to this day, a lot of people are not happy about that. But enough about that. Horthy's getting some changes. That is a new portrait, I believe. I like it. The man looks stern. He is stern. And a couple of new traits, so fascist sympathies. Yeah, makes sense. Anti-communist, he was fiercely anti-communist. Fun fact, Horthy was put in power after a short period where Hungary was actually the Soviet Republic of Hungary. So, World War I ends, Hungary is, beaten to a bloody pulp, and is now, congratulations, you're now a republic. People revolt, communists rise up. Communists take power, communists are in power, communists decide we're going to take all of our old stuff back, declare war on pretty much everyone, lose, unremarkably, and then get replaced by this guy who is essentially put there as, we're going to make this country a monarchy again. It's a little bit more stable. We don't know what king to pick yet, so we'll just put Horthy up there. People respect him. You're regent until we pick a new king. And then, of course, they never ended up picking a king, and Horthy was just a dictator. But that's the short of it. Fun fact, they offered him the crown a few times, but he realized, if I'm king, I'm bound by certain things. If I'm just a regent, I can do whatever the fuck I want. There we have him, Horthy. They're also adding prime ministers, much like Turkey has its prime minister system where he can only be replaced via event until a certain point, and after that you can throw him away. In this case, we also start with an advisor that can be fired. Mr. Gumbo here, Yula Gombosh, whatever that is, cannot just be manually replaced. You're gonna have to work your way through an event chain. I'm guessing an event chain or focuses to get rid of him. So it's gonna be one of those things you have to balance. Not sure I like it, but it beats having nothing special going on. These are the common branches, so every Hungary has access to this. You have your industry over on the left, you have the army stuff over on the right, separated between Navy, Army, Air Force. Industry is fairly straightforward. You're gonna have to make a choice right at the start between interventionism or not interventionism, and then it works its way down, where the army stuff is, again, split in its various parts. You have the navy stuff. You can only get that, I guess, when you have a coastline. And then the army and air force. Air force is heavily tied to industry as well. So to get the air stuff, you're going to have done at least some of the industry parts. And for the more research-focused focuses, you're going to have to work your way through the industry as well. I'm guessing this is bonuses to MIOs and stuff, and free factories are more on the right, locked behind industry, and just straight-up military bonuses like army XP, maybe new templates, that sort of stuff, is not really restricted by the industrial branch. So while the changes to this are big, they're not as big as what we're going to be seeing with the political stuff, but some important changes nonetheless. This is an example of the first choice you have to make, intervention or not intervention. My gut always says pick whatever gives green numbers, so left looks a lot better than right. Yeah, why would I not want a free civ and political power? No, I'll take the massive penalty to political power gain, please. No, it's going to be several things that decide what you want. I can't tell you from this, but what I can tell you is that Hungary is getting a system that looks a lot like the Turkish one, where you do industry focuses. They give you a little benefit, but they also unlock decisions. Decisions for a little bit of political power. You get more factories or buffs, bonuses, maybe even some resources, but you're gonna have to, spend the political power, wait the required amount of time to see what you get. And I'm not sure if I'm a massive fan of this, honestly. I'm not gonna say it's bad. It has its uses. It allows you to fine-tune what you want without having to do a billion focuses. That this can be done concurrently, I believe. I am often very critical of these decisions. I did not like what they did to Turkey, for instance, but I can see this working. Why? The industry branch is not as massive as the Turkish one, so they can give you fewer focuses. They can even give you shorter focuses and put the real benefit in the decisions, allowing for the tree to be compact, but still give you a lot. So you don't have to spend like a year doing nothing but industry. You can get through that in like 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, and at the same time still be getting a massive industry by doing the decision. I can see what they're doing with that, which leaves you with more time to do other fun focuses like the political stuff. Speaking of the political stuff, historical branch first. Again, this focuses almost entirely on getting Horthy more control. The first branch, or at the top of this whole tree, is all about solidifying Horthy's position and preparing Hungary for a war, which will be inevitable. And then further down here, there are war goals under here leading to a greater Hungary. And over on the left is picking your side. And as Hungary, historically, you're limited to either the Rome protocols, which will not exist if it's historical, or siding with the Axis, which is the historical path. I guess this is what most AIs are going to be doing. I like it, considering what we had in base game or with Death or Dishonor. This is already a massive step up, and I'm here for it. I am very interested. I want to see what all of this does, but I am very interested. And the way several of these war goal focuses are worded, they might even allow for semi-peaceful expansion, because these are demands, which I'm going to assume, could be wrong, but I'm going to assume they launch an event where either the country says yes, much like much of current Germany stuff, we ask for Sudetenland and they give it to you, or don't. If this works similarly, there might be ways to guarantee at least some level of peaceful expansion if you get your military and industry strong enough. So you can demand the Vojvodina, you can demand Burgenland, you can demand Transylvania, and not immediately spark a massive war to get a tiny sliver of land, which is going to give you some options as Hungary. I look forward to getting my hands on this. And all historical paths lead down to proclaiming Greater Hungary. In this case, it doesn't seem to give you cores, so I'm going to guess the cores come from the events or the focuses before this, or the cores are already there. We'll have to see. But it will allow you to become Greater Hungary, which looks a bit like this massive goulash. We're looking at this, pretty much what you already expect, except this sliver over there, that is new. That is Burgenland. That is actually Austrian at the start, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, I don't think I am mistaken. This is actually Austrian and Slovakia itself. So before you could already get Carpathian Ruthenia and southern Slovakia, but now you can get all of Slovakia for the glory of Greater Hungary. Okay, this is a shape I recognize from EU4. Now we're gaming. Now we're gaming. And because you can't have a Hoi 4 game without a little bit of fascism, here we have the fascist branch. Starts the same way. You continue the regency, Horthy's fine for now, but then it spirals out of control. Horthy has a lot of power, and a lot of people are jealous of that power, and the person most jealous of that power is Mr. Gumbos himself. He's going to do a march on Budapest, much like Mussolini's march on Rome, and is going to force Horthy to appoint him. It's going to force Horthy to get the fuck out. And now Mr. Gumbo gets to be in charge of the non-aligned party. So he's going to make himself regent by a march on Budapest, leading to some very interesting events. Mr. Gumbo gets in charge. He is now the regent. And all those fascist paramilitaries who actually helped put him there, let's get rid of them now. I don't want them. Which obviously has the very predictable result of all those fascist paramilitaries also marching on the capital, this time replacing him with one of their own. So that is how that goes. I think we'll have like different options, either by replacing Mr. Gumbo here with Ferenc that guy, or looking at what the focus says. So it can stand down and make the new... What the fuck's that word even? I can't pronounce that. Anyway, top option, full capitulation. Fascists get to appoint their leader. Bottom option might be, yes, we'll be fascist, but I want to run the show. So maybe we can keep this man and his drip in charge a little bit longer. Because the fun thing about, if you read the focus, so our new beloved leader is in charge, get rid of fascism, gets besieged by those fascists who don't want to be get rid of in his capital. But at the same time, from all over the country, his own far more powerful paramilitary organization is congregating on Budapest to besiege the fascists currently besieging the palace. So this is an Alesia situation going on right there. So I guess he still has enough leverage to say, all right, cool, you guys get to do this, but I get to call the shots. Maybe. So I guess that's the option of making this your fascist leader. He is the better dressed of the two. And then once you've decided on this man without his drip or this man with his drip, you proceed to pretty much the same focuses as the historical path. War goals are not that different. There is some variation. So there's a couple of these specifically for the fascists, like carrying on Arpad's legacy. Yes. The Great Confederation of the Magyar Tribes, the Hungarian life movements. So this is historical but more fascist flavored. It's a non-Horthy path, if you will. A non-Horthy, non-monarchist path. So this brings us to what we're all here for. The reason why I'm here, and I know most of you are here, the monarchist branches. Yes, branches, plural. Let's take a look. First off, of course, this is going to be massive. So many options already from what I can tell. Starts all the same and then it specializes. You choose which king you want. So either the Habsburgs on the left or any of the other options on the right. 3 different distinct non-Habsburg options and 2 different Habsburg options. So, Habsburgs, baby. Habsburgs, I'm here for it. They mostly seem to lead towards the same path at the bottom, but let's take a deeper look. This is a small selection of the kings you'll be able to get. Your Otto. We all know and love Otto. He wants his Austria-Hungary back. We have Josef August von Habsburg. This man is just, I'm a Habsburg, but I just want Hungary. And then we have Friedrich Franz of Mecklenburg-Schwerin. This is our fascist king. And then we have Karl Wilhelm. This is Democratic king. The Swede. The liberal Swede. Let's take a look. So this is what Friedrich gets access to. It mostly aligns with the fascist path, but he gets a couple of extra fancy bits that tie into it, like this one, the Volksbund den Deutsche in Ungarn, gets you a couple of extra stuff, and elected fascist king gets you a couple of, small benefits as well. And yeah, when you look at the tree itself, you can really tell, like, this is the fascist king path. It has one unique focus, and then it immediately branches off into the main fascist path. So this is not a focal point for the DLC, but they just give us the option, a little bit of flavor. He was there, expanded upon a little bit, but you're mostly going to be playing a fascist game. We're just with a king in charge, which already makes it like a dozen times better. If you're not a fan of fascism, maybe democracy is your thing, baby. That is not my thing, though, but can make it work. See the Democratic king, which is no longer the only way for Hungary to go democratic. More on that later, but there are now Republican paths. Thank God. So more options is more gooder. He has a little bit more to do. Some things like expansion in a more or less peaceful way through referendums, which I can only assume will mean massive voter fraud. Okay, if it makes Hungary bigger, I'll take it. A Balkan Pact, so an alliance with Hungary. So this is much more focused on diplomacy, not so much saber rattling. This is a more liberal path for Hungary, guided by a benevolent monarch. And if you don't like any of those options, why not establish a new dynasty? Guess who? That's right. If you don't want a Habsburg, you don't want one of the other kings, Horthy has just the thing you're looking for. So we can either crown Horthy or his even more popular son, which is going to be something I will definitely do. My boy Miklos gets to either have his boats or his palace. I will make him great no matter what. This looks like something I definitely want to do. I wonder if he's still an admiral if you make him a king. Still, establishing a new dynasty does have a little bit of flavor to it, and it doesn't necessarily force you into being an ally to Germany, because down here we have the option of an Anglo-Hungarian alliance. You will still have access to a bunch of war goals down there, but you can kiss up to the allies first and then be safe from allied intervention when you inevitably start saber rattling your way through the Balkans. I like it. I'm a fan. I'm a fan and I'm going to try this. Now, unfortunately, if you don't go with any of the Habsburgs, you don't go with the fascist king, and you're instead picking a Horthy or the liberal Swede, the paramilitary organizations in your country don't like it, and the fascists will rise up. Now, fascism is going to need to be stamped out. You have 420 days to deal with them through decisions and probably some balancing of things, I'm guessing. Much like the Spanish Civil War, you have decisions that allow you to either postpone it or to, well, Spanish Civil War happens nonetheless, but this one you might be able to completely stamp out if you play your cards right. So you're going to be spending political power to get fascism support down and get the fascists crushed. Now, having said fascism that much, I'm probably going to get myself demonetized, which is great. Love the censorship. But if you are interested in any of Paradox's games, quickly check out my link down below. It goes to the Paradox store, same price as the Steam store. It gets you a Steam key that you can simply use on Steam. Doesn't cost you more. All changes is that I get 12% of the sale. You help support the channel, you get a game, Paradox gets a sale, everybody wins. So if you're interested in that, my link is down below. If you're not, I'm sorry, I'll stop shilling. Back to this, but at least, you know, maybe I can get something out of this. So it looks like fascists rising up is not going to be something you can easily cheese. It appears to be something they have foreseen, so it will have to be dealt with. But now, what we're really here for, what if we reinstate the pragmatic sanction? What if we get ourselves a Habsburg? So there are two Habsburg options. The old Habsburg king, Joseph, I keep forgetting what his name is. Let's quickly scroll down here. Joseph August. So he has access to a fairly limited tree, but very focused on Hungary. Very focused on just Hungary. War goals, boosts, and the ability to saber rattle in the Balkans. And his goal is to just get yourself a greater Hungary. He's very much Hungary focused. Unlike the other one, the main guy, Otto, who will attempt to restore Austria-Hungary, which is really what I'm here for. You can see the difference here. So this is what Otto has access to. This is much more fleshed out. And this is what Joseph has access to. So yeah, it's not as flashy. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get Otto. Oh yes, Renovatio Imperii. All the way at the bottom, the restoration of the empire. That's what we want. Now, there are a couple of special things here. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but it comes down to this. There is a joint focus tree specifically for the various parts of the empire. So a slice of Poland, a slice of Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Austria, and then I believe parts of Yugoslavia. I don't know if all of them. They will be able to either be fully integrated into Austria-Hungary again, or they will be more federative. So spread out as still independent countries, but together in a faction that is called Austria-Hungary. So the empire more loosely drawn together. I believe at the end they may be able to still like join up like Voltron, but I'm not sure. I'll need to get my hands on this to be sure. But that allows all of those several different component parts to do this focus tree. So this is another one of those joint focus trees they've been trying to implement. And this one looks like it is going to be very good to play multiplayer with, to do those co-op games. Everyone working together to restore the empire. And I want to get my hands on this. So much like the Scandinavian tree they introduced, but not a lot of people ended up using, this one is definitely something I want to try out because it might actually be good. Maybe not in single player, but I'll definitely try a multiplayer campaign with these and some other YouTubers if I can find anyone who wants to help out. Reach out. So, yeah, cool. I like what they're trying. They're trying new things, which is always, well, welcome most of the time. And it looks like there are two ways of rebuilding the empire. You either go down Otto's main tree down to Renovatio Imperii at the end of Otto's tree, or you go down to 1,000-year federation to bind the empire together that way. Oh, I get it now. I get how this works. So this is optional, but not necessarily suboptimal. So Otto can either do his tree, work his way down, create the vassal states, and then use the decisions to integrate them or the various parts, or he can go down his tree to several, a certain point where the vassals pop up. And then instead of immediately starting to annex these vassals through decisions, I think we've seen that before with the Austria tree. Instead of doing that, what you can do instead is work your way through this tree where every single part of the empire can get bonuses that are overlapping. Everyone gets a little bit of a benefit, but the person who does the focus first gets more of a benefit. Usually that's how they work. And then as you work your way through this, you strengthen the individual parts of the empire until all the way at the end, you can join them together in a more slightly less centralized empire, more of a federation than an empire. But the end product might be stronger because all of those parts have been buffed individually significantly more than just simply integrating them into the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Now, somebody's going to have to do the math on what is optimal, but I like that there's two options. I believe the Austrian part of the empire has access to this tree as well, so it is going to be interesting. So Austria can do this, Hungary can do this, I believe the Czech part of the empire can do this as well if they're a puppet, and the Polish and Croatian parts. So Slovenes, maybe Slovenes as well. I'm looking forward to see how this plays. This is going to be good for multiplayer. There's going to be some fun multiplayer options here. I'm looking at some of the focuses that become available. I'm excited to give this a try. I am excited to give this a try. Yes. Reclaim the Holy City. Oh no, I still have to go take Jerusalem. Are you shitting me? But this actually gives you demands instead of having to go straight to war. So, you see, I'll be honest, I wasn't super hyped for the Hungary remake. I was more all in on Austria. But looking at the focuses you get, I have to try these. I have to try these. They can still be terrible, but I think this is going to be a much better experience than the current way of restoring the Austro-Hungarian Empire with all its RNG, randomness, and cheese you need to apply. I think this is going to be good. I think this is going to be good. And now for the less interesting, but nonetheless available paths. Get rid of Horthy and do some sort of republicanism, which is going to lead 3 different ways. Well, 2.5 different ways. On the left, democracy. Down the center, hardline communism. And down the right, a Hungarian flavor of communism. So, democracy, Comintern, communist but not Soviet, giving us many different options, including a new portrait for the egg. Yes, the egg is back and looking better than ever. All right, so let's quickly get our way through this. Yada, yada, yada. The dragon movement. Ooh. Come up for the middle class. Okay. Hungary belongs to the Hungarians. Yeah, is this Fidesz? Now, what I like is that even the democratic path is... I'm quickly browsing through this, but let's go back up to the tree. Now, what I like here is that even the democratic path has options for reclaiming some stuff. You're going to go 2 ways. The Danubian Federation as a democratic, or approach the diasporas, where you go for the more aggressive path. So the Danubian Federation unlocks that Austro-Hungarian joint focus tree. You wanna, well, you have the option of diplomatically tying the region back together, which is an interesting play. it gives you some nice expansion opportunities as a democracy. That is not very common in Hoi4. Or you can approach the diaspora, which leads to a more aggressive way of reclaiming lost Hungarian land. So throughout this whole tree, pretty much everyone wants their stuff back. There's not one path, I think, that is fine with leaving Hungary as is and just chilling and vibing. Everyone wants to go to war, including the democratic path, so you'll have something to do. And then, of course, the communist branch. Is that goulash communism I see? That is goulash communism. Okay. Yeah, the communists, Comintern branch, I should say, is a Comintern-friendly branch. It centers around connecting with the Soviet Union, building up industry and military, and pretty much being their guy in the region. So you could be a strong minor power in the Comintern. Could be some... I don't know, man. I don't want to be second fiddle. I want to be top dog. I'm not... Not for me. Not for me. But the option's there. Can never complain about having too many options. And last but not least, Bela Kun and his Comintern unfriendly branch. This is Bela. He was someone on good terms with Lenin, but almost executed by Stalin. Yeah, that's how that goes. And here you want to establish your workers' paradise in Hungary no matter the cost. Okay. And even his ultimate goal is to restore the Hungarian borders. Yeah. Ooh. And once you have achieved peak form, you want to take down Stalin's empire of evil and bring an end to his Marxist-Leninist charade. Okay, so this is going to be war. War to the knife and knife to the hilt. Okay. So they're a little light on details for the communist and democratic paths, but as far as I can tell, democracy, you can expand peacefully or through war. Communism, you can be Stalin's bitch and not expand much, but get strong and maybe in the war take stuff. Or you can be your own little thing, reclaim what was lost around you before any major war kicks off if you play your cards right, and then when everything's said and done, you take the fight to Stalin and wreck his stuff because he tried to shoot you and you're not about to take that lying down. Okay, so almost every Hungarian path has stuff to do. There should not be any boring things. And this is just a nice little sneak peek of, wow, it's a lot of advisors. Yeah, sneak peek of advisors, and they'll certainly have enough advisors and generals. I like, Hindi is still there. My man, he lives. Okay. Yeah, looking at this, you're gonna have to give up some generals because these are loyalty icons. This is the Arrow Cross Party, so it's a fascist sympathizer. But the other icon is then, I guess, a monarchist thing. Like he's okay with both. And I'm going to assume that the Civil War, or rather, the switching over to get rid of the fascists will purge these guys, and getting rid of the monarchists is going to purge the other guys, and the folks who have both might stick around no matter what. But you have a lot of options, so I think it's going to be okay. I like it. I like it. So that was a quick look at the incoming Hungarian stuff. I hope you liked it. Again, go read the dev diary. It's very comprehensive, really good explanation in there. Watch their little video. It's pretty good. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. See ya.